Okay, this is Game Center number 10. It's called the Cardster Game Center. And basically, to be honest, I left this one to last. In some ways, it is one of the most useful game centers. On the other hand, it's the one that I will have to explain in a couple of steps. The good news is, once you explain it to the kids, the game never changes, just the content changes. So, let me break it down for you. Every game sheet, every cardster sheet looks like this. It has the title of the name in black box, has a space for player one and player two's names, has some content, then it has like a work area, and then it has who's the winner down the bottom. Okay, and the way that it works is I'm going to break it down and explain two major parts. The second part is how to play. But before I do how to play, I'm going to go through how to use the cards. And here's how it works. What I'm going to ask you to do is pick up a couple decks of cards. If you pick up one deck of cards, that will give you four sets of games. Let me show you how they work, and then I'll do the numbers. So if you look at this sheet, the way that it works is to play the game, you need these cards from a deck of cards. You need the ace of diamonds down to the nine of diamonds, and you need the ace of clubs down to the nine of clubs. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 and 6 are 12 cards. The way that I do it is I take the 12 cards, I rubber band them, and they stay rubber banded for eternity. They never, the kids play with them, put the rubber band right back on. So that's one set of cards. Now, this is called the addition game, and look at the facts. Right now, watch. Go to this one. The facts are exactly the same. Everything about this sheet is exactly the same, except now it's the ace of hearts down to the nine of hearts and the ace of spades down to the nine of spades. I take those 12 cards, I rubber band them, and that's a game sheet. When I jump to the next sheet, same game, same everything, except now we're doing two of diamonds up to seven diamonds, two of clubs up to seven of clubs. Take those 12 and rubber band them. And then finally, two of hearts to seven of hearts, two of spades to seven of spades, get those 12. So basically, you get four sets of 12 cards. That's 48. I know there's 52 in a deck, but I don't actually use the eights. But anyway, you end up with four playing sets from one deck of cards. So one deck of cards gives you four sets, two deck of cards gives you eight, three decks of cards gives you 12. I can't imagine anybody's going to need more than that because you're going to be playing. The kids are going to be playing in at least pairs of two. So 12 sets of cards gives you 24 players. If you have more kids than that, you could always make a couple extra. So let's go back. So that's how they work. Every game, the addition game has four versions. Subtraction game, four versions. Division game, four versions. Adding decimals, four versions. Greatest common factor, four versions. Whatever it is, it has four versions. Now, the way that it works is the kids take the 12 cards, they shuffle them up, and they put them face down. Player one turns over a card. Let's pretend that they turned over the queen of diamonds. It gives them the problem 476 plus 788. They work that out on the side and they write the answer. I should have worked these out in advance, but I'm going to ask for your forgiveness and just do this quickly. That's about 500 and about 700. It's 1200 something. Okay, so they write that in. And now the other player, I want it to be not so close to that. Okay, so then the next player flips a card over, and they get the nine of diamonds. You know, they could get any card, but they get the nine of diamonds. Now this one's like 950 plus 200, so it's kind of like 1150 something. Okay. Now, the way that it works is kids will probably think that player one wins because they have the bigger number, but that's not how the game works. Player one picks a problem, solves it. Player two picks a card and solves it. Now, shuffle and choose a card. So they shuffle the cards up again and they flip the card. If the card that they flip turns out to be an ace, a king, or a queen, the winner is the player with the larger sum, which in this game would be player one, and player one would win. If the card that they flip over is a jack, 10, or 9, the winner is the player with the smaller sum. So then that would be player two. So they would flip it, blah, blah, blah. Comes out, it's a 10 of clubs. 10 of clubs, you look down the bottom, jack, 10, or 9, the winner, smaller sum. So that's player two. Player two would win. Then they would keep playing until somebody wins 3 out of 5 games, and that's the winner. So that's the basic format of all these games. You basically have 4 versions of any game so that you get these random card sets. And then you play the game by picking a card, picking a card, solving, and then picking a third card. I call it the decision card. When you pick the decision card, then you look down the bottom and it tells you. Now, just to show you, like in this game, they would solve player 1, player 2, then they would flip a card. Let's say they got 4 of clubs for the third card. You go down the bottom, 2, 3, 4, the winner is the player with the larger sum. If it had been a 5, 6, 7, it would have been the player with the smaller sum. And again, you just keep playing until somebody wins 3 out of 5. Now, here's another version. Division estimation game. This one, 24 and 300 divided by 6. You know it's going to be 4 and a teensy-weensy little bit. And then say this one, 20.3, let's do this one, 19.7. Let's say the other player gets 19.7 divided by 5. You know that that's going to be not quite 20 divided by 5 would be 4. So this is a teensy-weensy bit less than 4. So just by estimation, you know that this one is bigger than this one. You flip the third card, you look down the bottom, and it's either the winner is either the one with the larger estimated dividend or the smaller estimated dividend. So again, there'll be 4 versions of these. Here's another game, one step. This is algebra. N plus 7 equals 13, and then they solve it. They get 6. You put your answer 6. The other person picks 5 of clubs. Something plus 2 equals 18. That's 16. You flip the third card, and you check to see if it's the player, the winner is the person with the larger or the smaller value. So basically, once kids learn how to use the cards, and then how to fill in 1, 2, and then flip a card for the third one, every game is exactly the same. The only thing that's changing is the content. These can be used for extra practice. They can be used when kids are kind of new. They've been taught a concept, something like this. Let's say that you taught this. I don't know that I would give it out the first day, maybe, but you teach it the first day, then you go over it the second day, and then you let them play this game. Basically, these are problems that are pretty much probably going to be the exact same problems they would be doing in their textbook anyway. The difference is kids seem to find this to be fun because it's a game and there's a winner and they don't realize they're doing the same exact problems that came out of a book. I actually took these straight from an algebra textbook, took these straight from a 6th grade math textbook, took these straight out of a 4th grade, whatever grade textbook. They're just examples of textbook pages that already existed. It's just changed into a card game format. And that's basically how it goes. In my class with my kids, the way that I do it is 2 kids would play this game. Somebody would win 3 out of 5 rounds. And then basically they would then find a new player to play against. And then those 2 players would play and get 3 out of 5 rounds. And basically they would rotate around and keep playing using the same problems because you're not going to use every problem every time. So that is Game Center number 10, and it's called the Cardster Game Center.